All right. The next slide is upward communication. Information flow from the lower levels of a hierarchy to the upper levels of hierarchy is known as upward communication. And this is the second major flow of communication, which is upward. And from employee to the supervisor, supervisor to the department head, or department head to the vice president, or to the board of directors, and so on and so forth. So this kind of movement is called upward communication. This is directed towards the high ups, this kind of communication. So the course of this flow of communication is from workers, employees to the lower level management, and from up to the middle level management, and up to the top level management, and that top level management is going to send the message to the board of directors, or the company head, or the CEO, or the president, or whatsoever is the position of uh, the owner of that organization or that company. So you see that the second flow of communication is from downwards to upwards, and the purposes of this kind of flow of communication is to communicate the productivity, the feedback, promotion, prom, promotion questions related to promotions and considerations of the workers, right? And these are very important aspects of any organization's productions, right? Uh, uh, these employees who are working at the lower level of hierarchy, they communicate to their officers, or their supervisors, or their managers regarding the productivity, that the targets set by the organization regarding the product have been achieved, or how far they have been achieved, and they give the feedback on that level of achievement, or the satisfaction level of the work. And at times these workers send the messages, or communicate their messages to the high ups regarding their promotions if they are needed, if they have not been properly promoted. And they also share their considerations regarding their tasks assigned to them, and what difficulties they might be facing, and how the managers or the supervisors, the people at the above level of supervision, can help them out, and consider their position as workers. And at times their work timings, or their workplace satisfaction, all these things are required, and these considerations need to be you know uh, conveyed to the high ups as well, and also to seek the required action coming from the supervisors, or head of the departments, or the board of directors, to reach out those decisions which may affect the workplace situation, or the requirements of the workers working in that organization. So these are the purposes regarding the productivity, the feedback, the promotion, or the considerations of the employees, the workers, which are usually sent upwards to the high ups in the hierarchy. Lateral or horizontal flow of communication. This sort of communication takes place at the same levels of hierarchy in an organization. That is uh, uh, the peers. That is the people who work on the same level in any organization. If they speak, they exchange their ideas through any means of communication. So this sort of flow of communication is known as lateral or horizontal communication. That is, it happens on an equal level, as you can see in the diagram given in this slide, that the purchase manager, or the production manager, or the quality control manager, or the sales manager, these four managers are actually referring to different four quarters concerned of that organization, or these are the, you can see that these are the sections, these four sections are supervised by some manager, and all these managers, if it is a production wing or a purchase wing or a quality control wing or a sales wing, all these wings of any organization are headed by their own managers, and those managers in that organization at times do discuss things with one another, or they do communicate with one another. So uh, the communication that takes place at same levels of hierarchy in an organization is the sort of flow of communication that is known as lateral or horizontal. First, no superior subordinate relationship exists here. It is strictly a case of two people with roughly equal amounts of power and prestige. That makes this form of communication voluntary and discretionary. It is not necessary that these wings should cooperate with one another, but if they do, this is going to affect the product of the company or the organization in which they are working. So at times the managers representing different wings of different departments of any organization do discuss or do exchange their ideas with one another as to bring in the effectiveness of work, and this kind of communication between them among them leads towards a very fair environment, and it speeds up the work quality, as well as it improves the the relationships between the workers of various departments with one another if their heads are good to each other. So this is an important flow of communication within an organization. Purposes of horizontal flow of communication: it is time saving, it facilitates coordination of the task, it facilitates coordination among team members, it provides emotional and social assistance to the organizational members, it helps in solving various organizational problems. It can also be used for resolving conflicts of a department with other department or conflicts within a department. So you see, roughly all the purposes here uh, refer to one thing, that how an organization is going to have good quality of work if the people on horizontal scale working in that organization are at the same page, right? So what will happen is that if uh, uh, instead of sending full-fledged communications, uh, 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 a manager talking to the other departmental manager via SMS or a phone is easy way. It is time saving, and the task will be the task between that if some manager of a department needs to understand a certain act of the other department's manager, then he can coordinate with him, and he can ask about his task and the level of completion of that task, so that when it comes to their department and they are ready to take that task to the further stage, to the further level. So this kind of coordination facilitates the department heads, and it also leads or trickles down. Its effects trickle down to the team members of those departments, and it gives those members of that organization who are working under those heads of the various departments, by providing them emotional and social assistance, that they can talk, they can discuss their issues, uh, you know any given time, and they can come out with the solutions to those problems. And then it can be used for resolving conflicts if a department's worker are having any infringement of their rights by another department's workers. Then the heads talking to one another can resolve those conflicts, can solve those issues with the other departments very easily. Diagonal communication: this is another flow of communication that takes place between a manager and employees of other work groups, which is and we call it diagonal communication. That is, a manager who is to address the work groups or the workers of some other uh, you know uh, uh, other organization is this kind of communication is called diagonal communication. It generally does not appear on organizational chart. For instance, to design a training module or a training manager interacts with an operations personnel to inquire about the way they perform their task. That is, suppose being a manager, that person is sent to some other organization to, to guide to guide the workers of that other organization. So this kind of training program will be coming under the under the diagonal communication flow, right? It will refer to diagonal communication flow. It may not directly be, beneficial to the beneficial to the organization, uh, but it can lead towards good results because the experience of one manager at one organization, and if uh, he is asked to give that refreshment program or that refresher course to its workers, then this refresher course by that manager given to the workers of other organization will be helping improve that organization. Like I can give you the example that there was a time that PIA was supposed to be the best airlines, and even many different countries like Malaysia and other countries, uh, Muslim world countries like Qatar Airways and all the other airways, they used to, they used to seek guidance from the performance regarding the performance of their airlines, in the help of their managers and their instructors, their captains, sharing their experiences with those airlines. And now we can see that those airlines are among the great airlines of the world, whereas PIA has come, has gone through a downfall, sort of a downfall, because of the organizational failures and intrigues and all that. So you see, if a manager guest appears for the sake of giving a refresher course to other organization, then it certainly has its own effects, because it is going to, that manager is going to share the work culture of his organization with another organization, and that organization, if it is lagging far behind or it is having some problems, then it can overcome those problems with the help of the guest manager giving them a refresher course. External communication that takes place between a manager and external groups, that is the people outside the organization or outside the company in which that manager is working. And these outside groups are suppliers, vendors, banks, financial institutes, etc. For instance, to raise capital, the managing director would interact with the bank manager. Like these are, different. Suppose if I am the CEO of a you know uh, leading bookstore in Pakistan, then I am supposed to talk about different suppliers who will be providing me books, and vendors who will be selling their books, banks because I need to shift the salaries of my employees to those banks, and then keep that track of salaries with the you know with the organization. So these kinds of interactions with the people from the outside of organization are this flow is known as external communication, as it aims at sending messages or communicating messages to the people from outside the organization. And these are very important because these are actually the transactions, business transactions of one organization with another, right? So they are very important, and no communication barriers can be born, or otherwise they will be they will be causing a lot of loss to that organization. So the next concept that we need to understand regarding the flow of communication is the concept of the grapevine. The grapevine communication is the informal communication network within an organization. That is, people passing by, people sitting at a cafeteria, or employees of various departments of an organization coming across each other in, say, parking lot area or a cafeteria area, or uh, they are moving outside in the city and they come across each other in a mall, uh, uh, you know or at a food restaurant. So and if they are going to talk in an informal environment, informal situation, they are going to talk. Of course, they belong to the same organization, so their uh, center of discussion will be that organization, and the talks will be that kind of communication will be called the grapevine communication. Traditionally, the channels used for grapevine flow of communication are mouth to mouth, or email, fax, chat, or cell phone, or Facebook. As you know, that different employees belonging to different departments of same organization might be friends while they meet in parking area, while they meet outside of the organization. So they might be having their own WhatsApp groups or Facebook friendships, or they may exchange the cell phone numbers, or they may pass on various important informations regarding that organization through emails and fax and chat, right? Or they even discuss in their own personal meetings when they decide to go out and dine together in any restaurant, and they are discussing those things. So you see, there are a lot of rumors, a lot of things that they talk, these personnel belonging to any organization, and they may use various channels, various mediums of communicating, as we have talked about them right now. And that kind of flow of communication is called the grapevine. And the example of this is that, suppose the profit amount of a company is known, that many people come to know that the company had a large amount of profit. So the rumor is spread that this much profit is there, and on that basis bonus is declared, right? And this rumor sometimes will spread to the high ups of that organization, and those, they will know that, okay, the information has passed down or leaked, so they need to give the bonus now. Otherwise, it can lead to the negative understanding as well, that the high ups do not decide to give the bonus. So see, likewise, CEO may be in relation to the production manager. They may have friendly relations with each other. This kind of information, that the what kind of relationship between the CEO and the production manager is existing, may lead towards different kinds of rumors or different kinds of talks. These talks may at times be beneficial for the production manager, and because his workers, the workers under him, will be conscious, and they will be thinking that, okay, if our production manager has good relation with the CEO, at times the workers under that production manager can can achieve their own targets of promotion or something like through their production manager, right? So this kind of communication flow is known as grapevine. The purposes of grapevine communication is to create a social bond, that socially these workers are bonded with one another, and it also fills in a gap of information, that if there is a gap of information, that people meeting, the workers meeting in their own personal capacities at parking lot areas or restaurants or cafeteria of that organization, and they will be talking about certain certain orders or certain instructions given to them by high ups. And if there is any confusion between them, there is any confusion for any of them, then by talking in a non-challenge, in a friendly environment, they can fill in that gap of information that they need to know, so that they are able to discharge their duties in a better manner. So the grapevine in many ways helps keep people honest as well, that they have an eye on the working of the organization, and they are talking about those workings of the organization, and hence they are guiding, feeding their they're giving their own feedback as well. So uh, the communication speed, where downward, upward, and lateral communications are structured and flow formally through specific channels. The grapevine goes through multiple channels and even multiple versions, because people are talking mouth to mouth, or they are interacting with each other at various places which are in their own personal capacities. So the speed of communication is much more faster than any other channels that they may have of communicating. Best practices in communication and business writing. Effective business communication, as we have already talked about this concept. Use the most effective communication channel. Clear top-down communication. Information from the right source level, it moves downwards. Bad news should be shared by leaders and consider recipient of the news. All these things, if they are kept in mind, then definitely the message will have its own effect, more accurate. And listen closely to understand communication. Conciseness is important. We will be talking about these things in detail in the 7 C's of communication, when we will come to know about the 7 important concepts of communication later on. And simplicity. Large complicated words should not be used in communication. Be wary of jargon, abbreviations. Leave communication lines open for feedback. So these are the things that we will be discussing later on in detail in the 7 C's section. That is going to be our next lecture, uh, inshallah. uh, which communication channel should you use? uh, uh, in any form, in any flow of communication, we need to have these channels like mail, SMS, fax, video messaging, agent referral, web chat, email, inbound, outbound, ATM. Because these are the different channels, different mediums of communicating that can be adopted, that can be used for communicating properly, keeping in view the access of the employees. Now you can see that we have right now we have, more importantly, WhatsApp groups, right? As we uh, we can see that in our organization, that is GC University Faisalabad, here even the students and the teachers interact through WhatsApp groups, or the departments have their own WhatsApp groups. And this is the most fastest way of communicating, right? Because in one group there can be as many people as one can have, and one message sent in that group will reach maximum people. So this is the fastest medium of fastest channel of communicating, right? And it is very important. So these mediums can be chosen according to the needed speed of the communication, right? Ethical business communication. In business communications, what are the ethical things that we need to know, and we need to take care of? And there are some certain things that we shall not do. What are those? Here we have the lists of do's and do nots. uh, the do's are: be honest, candid, timely in your communication, and promptly correct errors in communication. Ensure free speech, freedom of assembly, access to open marketplace. Respect cultural beliefs, values. Balanced communication fosters mutual understanding. So we should have balanced communication, or give credit to the sources. Those who have worked, they should be given credit accordingly in the right time. That person has done his job in a great manner, and he should be credited with that. And what are the do nots? Use confidential communication for personal gain. There should not be any information that shall be misused, or guarantee results that cannot be obtained. No manager should promise any outcome, or any bonus, or any promotion sort of thing to his employees, if he believes that it cannot be done, because later on, when he will not be able to provide that promotion, or that bonus to the employees, then it will be causing disrespect for him among his workers, and a bad name for him as well. Or disobey laws or public policies that are usually given by the organization as rules. They should not be disobeyed, or they should not be avoided. So these are the important things which a business communication needs to have in it. Professionalism in the workplace is the most needed thing. So the managers and the workers should live up to their commitments, treat employees at all levels with respect. Managers should treat their employees at all levels with respect, value others' time, and their conduct shall be ethical, and they shall be friendly and positive in attitude, and admit their mistakes. Even managers can admit their mistakes if they commit any mistakes, so that there is a there is a workplace, there is a better workplace environment, professional workplace environment in that organization, and the communication will become more effective due to that. And competence, personal issues do not belong in the workplace. People should avoid their personal issues and dress professionally and appropriately in that organization. Adequate punctuality, organization, and dedication to the job. Silence mobile devices. These are the some of the professional, you know, understandings that any worker must have with him or herself to work properly in that organization, whether he may be a manager or departmental head, or whether he may be a you know worker at the end of the hierarchy. So why is this professionalism, manners, attitude, all that is important for any organization? Because it ensures good performance, it motivates the employees, and it generates a team spirit, and it also maintains the communication ethics, and also fosters positive workplace uh, you know uh, attitudes. So these are the very important things. Being professional is the most important thing, and it is above every personal personal grudge or personal ill feelings, if there might be any among the employees and the uh, employers. Intercultural business communication. It shall promote an environment where diversity is welcomed and encouraged. As we know that at most of the places in workplaces, you see, there are people coming from various backgrounds. If suppose you are working in an international organization, then there will be people from across the globe, right, belonging to different cultures. An Indian working in Dubai, and a Pakistani and a Bengali working in a organization, and any organization in, say, Dubai or Saudi Arabia, or in these Middle Eastern countries. They are different people. They belong to different cultures, and so it is sort of an intercultural business interaction that may occur between them, and it will promote an environment of diversity, right? Oftentimes the communication has to be slow, but not too slow, and active listening is required, because people belonging to various cultures, speaking various languages, will be speaking that language. Suppose if I'm working in a multicultural workplace, then the language I might be speaking, and the other members of that organization might be speaking English as an official language, whereas they might be speaking their own regional languages or national languages. So the coordination will be a bit difficult in that official language. So it requires a very active sort of listening, and do not make cultural assumptions that okay ji, all Indians are bad people, or Bengalis are bad people, or Pakistanis are bad people. If we have these kinds of assumptions in a workplace, then definitely it is going to affect our communication, it is going to affect our working capacity, all that. So limit information conveyed at one time, and in such a place where intercultural uh, interactions are supposed to occur, because of the workers, the multicultural work pool of that organization. It is needed that the uh, information should be conveyed in a very limited manner, right? And there should be an appropriate respect level for all the employees in such an intercultural business organization, so that the business communication is properly conveyed. Why is intercultural business communication important? Because intercultural business is expanding rapidly. Nowadays, we have more multicultural international organizations, and it is also important that it will help avoid misunderstandings, and the poor intercultural communication uh, can be equal to the low retention of business partners, suppliers, customers, because it will definitely affect the level of the business that organization is supposed to have, if its workers are belonging to multicultures, and they are not able to behave in a proper manner with one another. And to sum up, here is a you know it is an overall chart telling about the various attitudes of various workers coming from various countries, but it cannot be a stereotype. It cannot be taken as a stereotype. Somehow there has been studies worldwide regarding the people belonging to different nationalities, and that how they perform their tasks, and how they, their cultures affect their talks and their work at a workplace. So knowing them, knowing this chart can help us interacting with the people of various nationalities when we are working in any multicultural international working working place or organization or company, right? So this is all for today, dear students, and I hope that your understandings regarding the flow of communication will give you a very good level of mindfulness for your future interactions in any workplace that you may have in your future as employees, in the roles, various roles that may be, that might be, ascribed to them in future, like supervisors or managers or head of the departments, or even you will start from as workers. So I hope that these slides are really helpful. Thank you for bearing with me. Assalamu alaikum. Allah Hafiz.